Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. New England gets more at 24.
How much of a difference maker has help been for you this season, especially like being able to be aggressive and get to your spots, as you kind of talked about? You've been so efficient this year, and it looks so easy at times for you.
Health is key. You see a lot of guys getting injured going around the league and sitting out games. I want to play as many games as I possibly can. I had some injuries last year that kind of derailed me towards the end of the season. So health was a big emphasis going into the year. And then the start of the season, end of the preseason, I had a hamstring strain. Not ideal, but the medical staff, we managed it well, and I think I'm getting over the hump.
What's up, everybody?
What's happening, Chris?
Celtics, it's a lot more fun in here when they win a game.
I agree.
You would. I'm gonna call you out because we have a little text thread that you decided to finally respond to, and it said if the Celtics had another night like the Jazz game, you said that you wanted to cancel.
I was canceling the pod. Yeah.
Would have been back to the Forsberg.
Well, the question was any requests for the pod before the game, and I said, if they lose this game, I request no post game pod.
And I was like, and in the moment I said, geez, what a negative nilly for Giles over here. There's no chance they lose this game. Then they were down 11. And I was like, oh man, maybe Giles nailed this one.
No, I didn't. It's not because I thought. I was just saying, they can't.
It would have been tough based on first quarter returns to come in here. But no, the Boston Celtics, they rally and they win running away, 136-107. So they outscored the Washington Wizards by 40 points after the first quarter. I told you they flipped the script, where the Celtics have been really good in the first quarter and then lost their minds in the second and third. So Joe Mazzulla said tonight, hey, guys, I got the plan. We're going to dig ourselves a big old hole. You guys are going to have to bring some energy in the second quarter.
Play dead for 12 minutes, and now we're just going to completely catch them off guard.
But a lot of positives from this one. We're going to hit them all, so I'm not even going to dance around it. What's your headline for tonight?
My headline is Midtown Jaylen Brown. Midtown Jaylen Brown.
I feel personally attacked because I've spent like the last 48 hours defending the Celtics about their 3-point shots, and then they decided to just become the mid-range Celtics tonight.
Well, but Jaylen Brown's he's been getting a ton of the mid-range anyways. Obviously, putting up how many points did he have the other night against Utah? And it
was a lot.
And he was 0 for 9 from 3.
Yep.
So he still scored at will, despite not being able to knock down the 3. And tonight, it felt like he made an effort to get all of his points in that mid-range. I think you told me that he was 8
of 13 in the mid-range.
8 of 13 in the mid-range. So, and he set the tone early. You can talk about that first quarter and how the Celtics were down by 11. He had 16 points in that first quarter. So if he doesn't do that, who knows what you're looking at? I mean,
they could have been down. They easily could have been down 20 because there was no other offense in that quarter.
No, and you had Washington with 13 second chance points in that quarter. So it was kind of it could have been pretty bad if Jaylen Brown doesn't come out and get 16 in that first quarter and obviously finish with 35 points in less than 26 minutes of work. So
35,
Midtown
5,
Jaylen Brown.
5.
Yeah, it's a pretty good night.
The only person who's done it quicker is Michael Jordan.
It's amazing that you can kind of particularly point to that stat.
Anytime you muscle your way into it, it's like when a Celtic player approaches a Kuzi record or a Bird record, you're like, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of good players, a lot of good basketball, and you're in that conversation. And you can tell. I love JB during the walk off with Abby is like, man, I got to talk to Sam Cassell about my minutes.
Oh, by the way, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking Jaylen Brown might have to go back in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking that is great because seriously, as hard as he plays. And this was their 9th game of the year, right? So he's played 9 games in a short span. And played a good amount of minutes. If there are nights where you can spare him a fourth quarter, you got to do that. And so I was happy that they were able to.
Early in the season, they pretty much begged him to take a night off, and he didn't want to do it because they were 0-3 and felt like they needed to get this thing on track, and played the second night of the back-to-back and got it going. And you'd think maybe they'd try to find a spot. Like, even if he's feeling better, you're just like naturally trying to buy him a day off in the first little stretch here, because there's not multiple days off until next Thursday is the first time we'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday to rest on this. And, credit to Jaylen. It's clear he wants to be out there. They have been able to buy him some lighter loads, but I almost worry that either because of the struggles in the rebounding and the 3-point shooting and some of these unsightly losses or late game losses, that it's masking how good Jaylen has been. And just another example tonight where superstar player goes out there in a game the Celtics kind of had to have.
Yep.
Like, think about how, again, we might not be doing this podcast if they lose this game, because I don't know if anyone would push play.
Yeah, well, and that's right. If a tree falls in the forest, and
I don't know if anyone listened to the last one.
No one's there to hear. Does it make a sound? Right. No, he's been great. He's been terrific, and again, I thought he set a tone for them to attack the basket. I thought there was an effort there in the first half for them to attack the basket and not settle purely for outside shots. So, and then he knocked down a couple threes in the second half. It was a very efficient night, and he led the way. What's your headline?
My headline, playing into, again, the middle quarters being much better, was, man, they needed that. Because, again, we go from 0-3 and everyone being like, they let a couple get away and, but maybe this is just what they are this year, to they win 3, and so expectations start to grow a little bit. Okay, Houston, whatever, you get smacked 5-7. We know the story there. But, man, it really felt like the air came out of everyone's sails when they lose to the Jazz the other night. Yeah. And understandably so. Like, it was not a good performance. They get just absolutely devoured on the glass. And it ends with Nurkic going over Neemias. And, just like a lot of bad things. And the 3 is on top of it. And so it's just spawned like 48 hours of, maybe they just stink. And then or maybe they need maybe this offense isn't for them. And it was good that, like, every box you kind of wanted to check today got checked. Like, even Derek White didn't have a great game, but it was a better game than he's had lately.
Yeah, I go back to, a conversation we had before the season started where in years past, they'd be hosting the Wizards, they'd be favored by like 19 points, and you'd be sitting there thinking, all right, well, just not really sure what we're going to learn from this or how exciting this game's going to be, right, to the feeling you get this year, coming off a loss to the Utah Jazz, a team that's sitting at 3-5, thinking this is a big game. Like, I know it's the Washington Wizards on the other side. No, they were coming in 1-6, but it's still a big game because you can't take any game for granted if you want to find a way above 500 and get into the playoffs. So I just think that's kind of, there's many differences between the previous couple of years and this year. But Chris, like, when you look at the schedule and you approach these games, every single game matters for this team.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it, where there's just not, there's certainly no nights off, and every little night that you can get one, it feels important. You're kind of like, I kept saying, I don't know. We'll see where the trajectory ultimately goes. I try not to make too many wholesale declarations until at least 10 games, and you probably need 20. So we're probably looking at until Christmas before I'm ready to be like, this is this and this. But certainly there's this overarching theme of, can you keep this thing afloat and develop guys and be in a really good spot whenever Jason Tatum comes back, whether that's next season, whether that's this season, which, obviously I've declared that I feel like that's going to happen. And so, yeah, every night, just kind of like, every time you can just put a step in front of each other.
He's got them ready for more. More selection, more savings, more ways to win.
During the Try for More savings event at Chrysler Jeep 24, shoot to save more, up to $1,500 more. Plus, during the Drive Into Fall event, lease a new Jeep Grand Cherokee for just $285 a month and get more for your trade with up to $2,400 over book value.
Family owned and operated. You'll save more at Chrysler Jeep 24.
New England gets more at Chrysler Jeep 24.
Let's count the ways that, like, let's try to power rank the positives tonight.
Okay.
We'll ping pong. All right. My number one positive is Josh Minott, career high, 21 points. Thought he was super impactful. Maybe most notably, they go small ball center with him on some second units and limited the Garza minutes. And, like, Garza's going to help this team in various spots, but I think we understand his limitations. And I thought that new look second unit, and there were some other guys who will power rank in there, but I just thought the Minott minutes were really, really good. And so another step forward. I do also love that Joe is screaming at Minott with like 2 minutes to go in a 30-point game because he knows he needs to. He just needs to reaffirm that long term, and especially against very good teams, you have to be locked in, start to finish, and you can't be feeling good just because for the first time you made some above the break 3-pointers, and and you've thrown down some dunks, and you almost had a poster dunk that got stupidly overturned. So a good little. Not only was it a good night for Minott, but there's stuff he can learn from within. And hopefully be even better next time.
And the lob mower, you told me.
The lob mower.
Kevin Miller original.
Kevin Miller gets credit for it. I feel guilty anytime I try to take someone's
idea.
Creative property.
He would probably loan it out to you though.
But,
we already mentioned he got the credit. And it's pretty good.
Yeah, and
pretty good.
From now on he will get no credit because I'm just going to steal it and go with
it. Good. This was the last time he's going to get credit for it. If we're talking power rankings, I would have had Jaylen Brown at the top there, but
okay.
But we can move on. We already talked about that. Neemias Queta. I thought that the way they used him offensively as well, they ran some action. They found him early. You got the first 2 of the game on that. I can't remember who found him, but a nice little pick and roll situation.
It was Derek White.
Yep.
Because I said, that could help Derek kind of get going a little bit.
Queta with 15 points, 12 rebounds, 7 of 7 from the field. I know it's not going to be like that every night. I don't think Washington really presents as much of a challenge in the front court as some of the other teams you're going to see. But
Sarr was a beast for the first 6 minutes.
He was. He absolutely was. So much of the conversation coming into the year was, what does this front court look like? Who's going to step up? And it kind of almost felt like in the preseason that, is Neemias Queta, what kind of role is he actually going to play? And then he is in the starting lineup opening night, and he's been there since. And this was, one of his best all-around games. And we've said that a few times already. It feels like he's becoming more involved. There was a fast break at one point where he took a dribble and had the long ahead bounce pass, I think, to Derek White.
Yep.
Might have even been another lob on that one, but I was just like, okay.
He had a little swim move to the basket. I think he had one kick out. He was all over the place tonight. Had the loud block that he volleyball spiked into the third row. No, Neemias.
C.J. McCollum.
Yes, poor C.J. McCollum. These are the nights where you're like, okay, they're tapping into what Neemias can be, and there's a whole nother level of consistency. Again, rewind the tape to Monday night. That had to be a frustrating moment. Clearly learned from it. Was clearly more engaged tonight. Good for Neemias. One guy I did not expect to be third on our power rankings is Jordan Walsh, who ends up playing. Am I reading this right? 23-51. That feels like a lot more than I thought.
3 or 4
but
from
plus
the field.
27, 7 points, 3 or 4 shooting, 7 rebounds. Did have 4 fouls, but I'll let him off the hook on that. 2 steals. I can't wait to see the deflection number. He was just super active. It was clearly in this little period where he hasn't played a whole lot and Shireman's been ahead of him. It was clear he recognized at some point, when I get out on the court, all I'm going to do is play defense really hard, and I'm going to try to rebound every single ball that comes off that rim. And you could tell within the first 2 or 3 minutes of his first stint, I was like, he's going to be on the court because Joe is going to reward him for that energy and that activity. And so as you keep waiting for, and Baylor's had some good moments. Like Baylor's been able to stay in front of guys. He's had a one game where he's knocked down shots. But, you're still just kind of waiting for one of these guys to really kick down the door. And I would even throw Ugo in there. Like Ugo, I think they have full confidence in dispatching to play defense. But Walsh tonight was about as good as one of those wings have been coming off the bench with just pure energy, with pure, I'm just going to rebound the basketball. And that might be enough with the construct of this team and what their weaknesses are to guarantee you playing time. So as we'll keep putting an asterisk on everything, it's one thing to do it against the Wizards. It's going to be a whole nother thing to get out there against Orlando on Friday night. But I love the energy Jordan Walsh played with. And as I keep hoping that we can kind of learn, which of these wings then it could be all 3 of them. It could be 2 of them. It could be 1 of them. It could be whatever. I feel pretty good about Ugo's development and where he'll eventually get to and the poise he plays with. But Walsh and Shireman have got to kind of kick down that door, and I thought Walsh did that tonight.
I feel like I might be wrong. I don't have the halftime box in front of me, but I think there were only 2 bench points in the first half.
That feels right.
So, and obviously Anthony Simons got going there in the second half in particular to finish with 18 points, which points me to the next thing I want to talk about is the Celtics starters A combined 9 of 21 from 3.
Much needed.
9 of 21 from 3 from Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Josh Minott, and Jaylen Brown. Those 4 guys. No one attempted more than 6 of those 4 guys. That's big. And it's not jump off the page type of number,
no,
but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Do you think they made a concerted
100%.
effort?
I think you could tell it in the first quarter. I thought Jaylen was very deliberate in where he wanted to get to. It was weird because Peyton gets, and if I'm gonna cap the power rankings with one more. It would be Peyton Pritchard, 2 fouls to start the game, gets pulled within like 45 seconds.
Yep. Almost
jarring because I looked away real quick and I was like, wait, why did he get pulled? And then I was like, oh, he got the second foul, and but comes back in, ends up plus 36 on the night, right? Yeah,
well, yeah, because he's in foul trouble, so he missed the first quarter.
18.7, yeah, so he avoided all the bad times. But Peyton goes 5 of 6 in the mid-range. So as good as their 3-point numbers were, I bet if you looked at everybody in the mid-range, and I think Derek was like 2 for 3. So you're talking about guys, they were something like 65, 70% in the mid-range overall. And I do think there was an emphasis of, okay, we can take the threes if they're good threes and if we're playing right. But let's start with just, how about we get a couple paint touches?
Yep.
And then when the Wizards overreacted to that or didn't defend it well, they just took them. And it felt like everyone sort of got the confidence there, and that is absolutely the way I want to see them attack that. Where if it becomes you're touching the paint and then that's the best shot, live in the mid-range. And when Jaylen's shooting the way he is, go for it. And then when it creates opportunities to spray to the corner and get good looks, so be it. But this felt like, again, if you're going to try to box up how the Celtics should try to play, between the transition opportunities, the lobs, the mid-range game, the threes, like this is a pretty good. Hey, let's try to do this more often.
Yep. You just want to see it again. You want to see it again against Orlando,
a good team.
Right? You want to see them consistently kind of try to do that. But I believe it was their lowest 3-point rate of the season as far as overall shots.
I think we hit everything, just about every time I led.
The one other thing I was going to bring up was that they gave up 13 second chance points in the first quarter.
Oh, good call.
And they gave up 1 second chance point in the second quarter when they took control of the game, when they outscored Washington by 21.
You could tell Joe was really happy with the way, and I'll have to go back to watch. I'm not very good about like plucking the defensive changes out in real time, but it felt like he said he was. I think in his interview with Abby, he said he liked the way they shifted, and like it was clear that whatever they were giving up, where Sarr was just dominating and getting those second chance points, they got a lot better and more like locked in and focused on being better. So they needed that because man, like it felt like it was like, oh boy, is it gonna be another one of those nights? And then they tightened it up. How you feeling about Orlando?
They haven't been playing as well as I would have expected.
Would you have thought? I just said this on Plus, but I did not think that going into this NBA Cup game that the Boston Celtics would have a better record than the Orlando Magic.
No, I wouldn't have thought that either. And Orlando's schedule really hasn't been all that hard either.
Yeah.
Like they haven't played really any of the top teams.
Right.
They haven't played a Houston. They haven't even played a Knicks. So they've struggled. They lost 4 in a row. And this was a team that I thought would take the next step, and they might still, but right now they're not playing great.
Right.
They'll have 2 days off going into that Friday night game, but you got them Friday and Sunday.
And it's tough. Those home and homes, but for both ways, right? Like it's not going to be easy for Orlando to take both. It's not going to be easy for the Celtics to take both. But you are probably catching them at the right time. The only way you're not catching them at the right time is if like Desmond Bane starts to hear the noise and realize that he needs to kind of start figuring it out. Got ejected in that Hawks game and has been frustrated. And it's clear, there is a little bit of pressure when they trade like all those first-round picks and bring you in. But the big thing for me is Orlando's offense right now. It was supposed to take a step forward. It has not. Paolo is still an absolute beast, but all those Wagners and they still can't score with consistency.
Well,
so.
let me ask you about the matchup though, because we've seen them against bigger, more physical teams in this early year. Struggle a little bit on the glass. And remember them last year from the first round of the playoffs, just how physical, crashing the boards. That's a thing that the Celtics are going to have to make an effort against. It's not just that Orlando comes in not playing great basketball. It's that, as far as a matchup goes, those things will be a concern.
Yeah, and again, watching that Hawks game yesterday, like they got Kristaps out there. Like, it looks different when you have that big 7-footer to vacuum up rebounds. It's going to be tough. Like, the Wagner in front line, and Paolo and Bain is a big body. Like, you got to be ready. And Suggs is back out there, and so they got to be dialed into a level that even beyond what we saw tonight. And you can't have a bad quarter because you're not gonna get away with it against a really good team. And like, I don't know what they're probably not saying they're going, oh man, we really need to turn this up. It's the NBA Cup. But I do think there's like a little bit of, we're 3-5,
4-5 now.
No,
sorry, Orlando. Yeah.
Orlando. So I think Orlando's got to feel like you got to, like we did tonight, coming in. And
yeah.
I say we in terms of the people that do this pregame show, because we would not have been able to get through another dastardly performance. So I do think there's going to be a little bit of emphasis for them of, hey, they got to crank it up. So I think Celtics got to be ready for their best punch.
Okay.
And you got to be ready because you got to, not only you got to do the podcast, we have
right.
Celtics post up that night.
Yeah.
Kayla's going to be frolicking about in Orlando.
Right. Doing sidelines on Friday?
No, she says she's going golfing.
Oh, really?
Hanging out. Yeah, like I don't even think she's going to the game.
Okay.
She'll be there. I'm lying.
I was like, you're just making that up?
I did give her golf course recommendations. Have you ever golfed in Orlando?
I have not golfed in I don't think I've been to Orlando since I was a kid. So.
Should have been thinking ahead. Should have been ready to book that tee time. When you were
I was a kid,
years old.
Yeah. Mini golf was good enough.
Yeah, that is true. I have friends who play when they go to Disney, and they play like on the Disney courses, and they have the little Mickey Mouse balls and everything, and it's a good time evidently.
Okay, I'll take their
Grand Cypress is the course. The Celtics were kind enough. One of my first years covering this team, Jeff Twist I think set it up, and we went. It was a link style course. I played my best round of golf probably for like a good 10-year stretch there.
And you wanted to go back every day since?
Every day since then. The first hole was set up just like St. Andrews. Very wide open, little creek running through. I might just be making
just
this.
like
Honestly, I feel like and then we played some downtown course. I don't know if anyone on this podcast cares about my golf game, but I had a blast. I enjoy. I'd even go back to Disney.
Oh.
I used to have I have former life.
The Universal's there too.
There's the company, man. Yes, we should go over there. I had a fun time doing the Harry Potter stuff with my kids because Universal is the best of all the parks down there. So while you're daydreaming about being in Orlando with Kayla, you can go you can go subscribe, you can go check us out on the YouTube page. We'll be back with NBA Cup Fever on Friday night. Catch you next time.
Have a good one.